This is December garden tour here in South Texas, about probably 30 miles southwest of Houston. And let me just take you along about what's going on in here. So this is the south side of the home, and the periwinkles that are here are all here from 3 years. They've been coming back on their own. Some of them are actually the original plant that I planted 3 years ago and just covered in mulch and just returned on their own conditions because I haven't had to plant any annuals here since I put these here. They do a really good job of keeping the weeds down. Anyway, so this is the south garden. It's full of perennials, and it has about I want to say about a 50-foot creek bed going down the center of it. It's not in tip-top shape right now, but you can get an idea. And it runs along this path, and it's all the way down. And at the very back is this drain, which does a fantastic job of catching all the drainage. Now, whoever installed this garden had a fantastic idea of putting eucalyptus in here. But look at this eucalyptus. I'm in zone 9. I'm a little bit south of Houston. That's where I am. There's a couple that died last year, but I think one is coming back. So that's good news. I'll show that one up close in a minute. But anyway, I don't know enough about these plants other than I love them. I love the smell. Eucalyptus is one of my favorite things. The plant so much. And like I said, I have tried to grow eucalyptus so many times and failed. So I just thought it was a good opportunity to actually share a successful one. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. I wouldn't and couldn't and can't recommend for anybody to grow this because I don't know how it's growing here. I've never been successful with one. I don't know what variety this is. If somebody knows, please let me know. It looks very similar to like silver dollar kind that you see everywhere. However, it's smaller, but it does look like some that you might see in floral arrangements. But anyway, I just wanted to share this fabulous eucalyptus that's growing in zone 9 that I can take some credit for. And you know, if you know more about this eucalyptus, please comment down below and let me know what it is because I want to get more just like this. Or if I could just learn how to propagate it. Maybe I should just be focusing on that. This one was looking pitiful. And then those few weeks where the client accidentally turned off the water system, it pretty much turned in. This wood feels healthy. It doesn't feel dead to me. You know, like when you cut dead wood, it just doesn't do this. And when I scratch it, you know, it very much feels alive. So I don't want to get too aggressive with the cutting. But, you know, it's planted in such a small area with so many hazards. I mean, at one point, you know, it's growing into the AC. And one time they had AC people here repairing it. And they laid it down and set their toolbox on top of it. I lost my mind. I forgot to tell the clients about that. But I felt very violated. Over here, this is the loquat tree, and I've never seen it flower or fruit in the 3 years I've been here, but it's covered in flowers now, and I'm hoping that means that it's gonna fruit. And I've never really been around one before. People talk about them all the time. I've seen them in the area, but not up close enough to know the, I'm not really a fan of the smell. It's florally, but just unexpected. I was expecting a citrus-like scent. It's not. Or the scent that citrus plants smell like. They're so good. This did not have that scent at all. I've never seen one flower and fruit before, so I'm kind of excited about that. One of the other things that got damaged was from the sprinkler incident where the client accidentally turned it off and forgot to turn it on, is this beautyberry right here. All the leaves fell off when that happened, so I'm not expecting it to recover. And probably within the next month or so, I'm gonna go ahead and cut that down. I like that to start over every year. Forgot the peach tree. This peach tree really suffered a lot of damage from the incident. I wanna say it was the most affected by that sprinkler incident. I don't expect it to bounce back, and I don't really know how much that's gonna affect the fruit production next year. But you know, it's just started, you know, making fruit, only just a few at a time each year. But I feel like, you know, this could have been a really good year, but now with that happening, I don't know how much it could be impacted. But that's the state of it. And, you know, I'll be posting updates about that in spring because I just love it when it flowers. It flowers pretty much the same month every year. Okay, so here's the Peggy Martin that I trimmed up. It's been, I mean, I want to say just at 3 weeks. definitely less than 25 days. And you can see the growth that is coming out on here is, I mean, look at this. I can swing one of these over here. These are the ones that will all have blooms on them. They will grow, these sprouts can grow like 15 feet in a month. They are really fast growers. So that's where, when you do have a Peggy Martin, that's the maintenance that you need to consider, is that, are you willing to put up with that growth? And do you have a place that you can support that growth? Because wanting it and then being able to have it thrive they're just two totally different things. Anyway, I just did want to share this update because if you have a Peggy Martin and you are not going to reset it like this, you know, at least every couple years, then what's going to happen is it's going to become more of a ground cover, sprawling kind of over other plants, and it will just create a jungle of its own because it is a beast, huge beast. But those are things to consider. You know, a lot of people will just see the blooms and think, oh, I love it. But you have to realize that's 2 months out of 12 months a year that those blooms are going to be present. And then you have to think, and if it's not trained, those blooms aren't really going to be where you want them, because if it's kind of been allowed to sprawl and go where it wants, they'll be on the other side of plants and probably the other side of walls to where you may not even be able to see them. So, or at the top of trees. I have seen Peggy Martins just kind of twine their way to the top of a tree, and the blooms are up there because it was planted in kind of a shady area and it just eventually found its way up there. So those are the things to consider. Sorry for the rant. Back to the walkthrough. That's something I will keep posting about and follow along. Oh, let me share the place on. I just cleaned up the asters on this side of the pond, and I put those kales in. Just 3, 4. Actually, I put just those 3 in that one there, and then I put another little purple one right over there along that side. And then I redid this whole area right here, took out the rocks and cleaned out this bed. It's funny how literally 24 hours ago I was working outside in shorts and a cami, and now I can't stay warm enough. So let's go through this garden before we hit 30 degrees to see what's going on. There's a butterfly bush, giant iris. We've got some drift roses here. There is some native salvia there. We've got the native Texas peppers and some really cute kales. Those will be fine. This is the Texas tarragon right here. Smells really good. Verbena should be fine at those temps, but we'll see. There's the aster. There's the lantana. Sometimes it can get enough warmth from being under like a nearby shrub or something, or surrounded by certain plants. That'll be something we'll see. The society garlic will look like a pile of wet, soggy noodles. And let's see, that's another butterfly bush. The leaves should just burn and go away. Same with the little shrimp plant there. The canyon daisy, I can't remember. The plumbago, I'm guessing it will do the same thing. This is the aster. I've seen aster stay green in freezes, but what I'm going to do, so that down there, that new growth, that's usually what I cut everything back to, but I'm going to leave this top growth here just to see if that new growth back there dies back as well, even though I'm leaving this here to see what happens. Chinese fringe tree, that'll be fine. We've got a camellia over there, which of course will be fine. Oh, the drift roses, those will be fine, of course. The heather will probably be a thing of the past. So these cone flowers, I've always had luck with these as well. So this leaf litter that's around the base of these will be fine, even if the cone flowers die back. So I'm not too worried about those. Just wanted to give a good view of what this garden looks like before we're getting down to 30 degrees, because it's going to be a great time for people to learn temperature tolerance that each plant has. This garden pretty much runs along the southwestern, it's at a southwestern angle against this wall, but it is at an angle. And anyway, the amount of ligustrums that were planted in this yard, again, I'm not sure what the vision was, but I'm always, you know, if I shaped them all the same, If I let them all get like mini trees, I think that they would just overtake stuff. And then trying to keep them in a neat shrub shape is really not the style that these clients have in mind. So I've pruned this one. This one is pruned into like a little mini, like umbrella style tree. So this span right here is about 5 feet from this end to this end, and it's really only about 3 feet tall. And I keep the trunk cleaned out. And I mean, I think it's cute. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep it like this, because this is the first year that I shaped it like this, but it's going to need a very consistent, aggressive maintenance across the top right here, because this plant will grow forever. It never stops. So you continuously need to keep it cut in whatever shape you want. The apple tree, I think will be fine. There's some apples on it. Look at these down here. Look at those apples. These are really coming along. But they're also hanging down to the ground almost, being very inviting for some critter. Here's some more drift roses. They will be perfectly fine. That Ananise banana appeal will be fine. This African iris, this giant iris, I am 90% sure that will be fine. We'll see if I'm right or wrong about that. This verbena here, that should be fine in these temps, especially with that mulch. I do think it will be fine. Those are strawberries down there. And the yarrow. The yarrow I think will be pretty good. I think the yarrow will be fine down to 30, and as well as the strawberries, of course. Let's see over here. This area is considered another side garden of the house. This is on the north side. And this area is kind of, I think they refer to it as the meditation grotto, if I'm saying that right. But this is what it looks like. Excuse the signs. That's the reminders that I need to put for the lawn people, because they can't remember how to cut the yard. But the ajuga will probably burn back a little, but I do think it's one of the first ones to come back. The creeping Jenny, that's hard to say. It really depends on the conditions. Technically, it would die back, but if the ground's moist enough, like this is having a little bit of splash over, it may survive that. The ajuga here, I hope this one doesn't die back. It's really close to that Ananise that may keep it alive, but I think I might bring some extra mulch for that. I decided I'm going to use mulch around this really beautiful black ajuga. You know, it is classified as an evergreen sometimes, and I don't know. You know, to me, when something's an evergreen, it says it labeled evergreen, it should be green regardless of the conditions, but I still think it's down to a certain temperature. Over here is where I have my little propagation station, and I have the eucalyptus cuttings down there. This is the indigo. I don't know why. We've had some really bad wind, and so it's just really dehydrated from that. The soil's wet, but the leaves have just been beat to death. I think I'm going to take this little propagation here and this one into the garage. My favorite indigos. Definitely being partial to these guys, because this garden needs more of them, and it's a new plant I don't know much about. A little bit of extra TLC. I'm going up around the stems just to keep those roots, or the roots that are trying to form, extra warm. And then I'm going to dump the rest into my soil stash. This is my little soil stash that I keep here. Okay, so now one thing that's really iffy here is this creeping fig vine. I think the parts that are the fluffiest over here. Okay, so these parts right here that are super fluffy, I think these are the safest right here, because this all acts like insulators. But the parts that are really close to the wall and flat, those are the ones that are most at risk, because they have the woody part is so exposed and vulnerable, versus this one kind of has just like a little natural, its own blanket over it. If the leaves die, I still think it would be pretty here, but you know, that's me. But anyway, this will be something to see how it does in these conditions. And again, it has not stopped raining, even though no rain was in the forecast for the day. I have been rained on the entire time. These plants need to come out because they're taking over the bench. So that'll be something that I do over the course of this season as well, while it's cool. On this side, This is the north side garden. And there's my little propagation station with my indigos and a view of all the other things happening over here. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll join me again to learn more about warm climate garden beauty.